And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Welcome everybody, VSRL Truck Series live here on VSPEED Crimson Cards Carolina Challenge at the Charlotte Roval. 45 laps here tonight, brought to you by VSPEED. We're going to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage all season long here at the VSRL Truck Series. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Welcome everybody. As we get ready to do warm-ups, get to go trackside, we're going to pull some guys up here. And right now, as it sits, Sean Langton is sitting on the pole with the open qualifier. We're in the warm-up stage right now with about 4 minutes left to grid. So let's see if we can get some guys up here momentarily. Pre-race drivers meeting going on right now. And then we'll pull the number 8 machine up here. John Langton had a great race last week at Rockingham. I know that was a tricky track for a lot of these guys. We saw guys like Morgan Cook struggle a little bit there their first time out on the speedway. And then Homestead's winner, the 24, actually the 25, had a rough week there last week. So here we sit right now with Sean Langton on your pole. And with the warm-ups, I don't have the speed interval. I don't have any lap times, so I'll see if I can get some qual times up there. Yeah, I got no information. Speed, timing, and scoring is completely wiped out right now, so I apologize for that. But right now, it's about 3 minutes left set to grid. We're going to wait until they're done with the race pre-race lobby, and we'll get Langton up here. We'll just take a momentary break here in VRX simulations, and everybody can get their word out about their products. We'll be right back after this.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Around it, turn!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
All right, we're back live here at the Charlotte Roval, and we're going to pull a guy up here into the broadcast booth. Sean Langton going to be starting on the pole here tonight. Pretty quick, that open qualifier. It might have made it challenging, but you got it done.
Thanks, man. Yeah, just trying to lay down some clean laps and ended up on the top.
Well, you're looking good out there. You've been having a solid season thus far, and coming off the momentum from last week at Rockingham, which was a challenge for a lot of people. What can we expect here tonight at the Roval?
Tire management, just keep those rear tires underneath you. Fuel strategy shouldn't be a big deal. I think we could all figure that one out. But yeah, just staying out of the walls and keeping it pointing the right direction and save those rears.
Well, you got Orange Speed on the hood, and that's been a really solid team. So before we let you go, how many teammates are you going to be fighting with out there tonight?
We got a couple strong competitors up here. I'm looking forward to it. We got a good team this year.
Well, Sean, good luck out there tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you post-race.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Sean Langton driving the number 8 Orange Speed machine, and he's out there getting ready to grid, as are everyone else. We're going to get everybody down here on pit road and get our blimp camera fired up, take you through the grid. Got quite a few different competitors out there tonight. Some names that we're not used to seeing on the track as well. I believe that we have Matt Brewer out there in the 26 machine. I don't believe I've said that name before, so new driver out here tonight. Nick Gardner out there as well in the 16 machine. Good to see Nick Gardner back to racing. One of the fan favorites from BTDY coming out here to present the 16 machine out there tonight. But anyway, here we go. Sean Langton starting on the pole with a 1 minute 22 second qualifying time. And he's going to beat out Sean Bounty. So the two Seans up front. It's kind of a deja vu moment from Rockingham. The 34 machine going to start outside the pole. Third position, Luke Daniels with Garrett Helmlinger in the 4th spot. Row number 3, Morgan Cook in 5th with Nick Gardner in the 6th position. 7th spot will be Nicholas Fontenot, apologize, and then Todd Cleveland, 8th position. 9th spot, Mark Math and Justin Ritchie, rounding out your top 10. Brian Hennings in 11th position with Chris Klein, that's a name I haven't said before, in 12th spot. Dakota Floyd in 13th with Kyle Stewart in 14th position. Adam Tips in 15th position with Thad Miller 16th. 17th spot belongs to Brian Watkins. Matt Brewer in 18th. 19th for Joseph Selig and Larry Dickerson in 20th. And to round out your field, Dan Witt and David Achenbauer, 21st and 22nd respectively. So here we are, getting sized up, and a lot of traffic here at this place. A lot of different corners, a very technical circuit. But if you can figure out how to get around the technical parts of this track, the rest of it should be pretty familiar. We've got the long sweeping banks of Charlotte, turns NASCAR 1 and 2, turns NASCAR 3 and 4, both incorporated into this Roval. So you have to be good in the technical spots to build up enough speed here on this exit to come into NASCAR 1 and 2. You'll go down the long back straightaway with a sharp chicane in the middle of it. And that's a tricky spot to pass. Some guys overshoot that runway, can get a penalty as well. So there are plenty of possibilities to end your race. Full course cautions will be turned off for tonight. There's something to keep in mind here, that we will not have full course yellows. If you do make a mistake, it's going to be even tougher to catch up because of that reason. So look to some of these guys to be very conservative in the opening laps of this race. Get spread out, then we'll start seeing them pick them off one at a time. Right there's the sharp chicane we were talking about. Everyone able to pace side by side. Very difficult to even do pace laps here. But the iRacing safety car about to pull that hard left-hand turn as they come out of NASCAR 3 and 4. And VSPEED gets set to bring you flag-to-flag coverage. Hope you guys are excited. Race number 4 out of 14 for the VSRL Set Truck Series. Ready to go underway. Pace car makes its left. And Sean Langton gets ready to lead him off. Off of the final chicane on the inside. Turn 1's going to be tricky, and the green flag is out. We're live. Set Truck Series at the Roval. And we got trouble here. The 24, Dakota Floyd. Little contact with that outside wall. He's going to have some left front damage already on lap 1 in the technical spots. We like to run lap 1 with the ticker off and let you guys get sorted out. Sean Langton is able to hold the speed here. And Mark Math loses it there in the final, in that first chicane, but we're into the final chicane. And leading lap 1 is going to be Sean Langton, who had all the confidence in the world here coming into this race. He's going to peel it down into turn 1 with about an 0.8 of a second gap over Sean Bounty. So we run on board with the 34 Bounty. No changes for position just yet, but the top 3 stayed pretty solid. See the 28 of Luke Daniels catching up to him a little bit. 4D race wear on that machine. That's a very chromed out paint job. I like that. That red is beautiful. But your top 3 right now as we go into lap 2. Sean Langton, Sean Bounty, and Luke Daniels. Garrett Helmlinger in the 4th position. And then Morgan Cook staying in his 5th spot. Fontenot, who actually started in 7th spot, has picked up 1 position, and he's right on the bumper on the back of Morgan. Didn't quite get the exit speed that he wanted there on that second chicane. Well, first chicane, rather. He's going to come into the second one. Let's see if he can do a better job there, diving it down in and get back up on the bumper of Morgan Cook. Cook's just able to cut that a little bit better in that drive off for the 51. He's going to pull away. Chris Klein, another guy we haven't talked about this season. He's being scored in a 51 machine, but is actually numbered 18. And there's Nick Gardner, a name that we're familiar with over here at VSPEED, running in the 8th position. Thad Miller behind him. And Larry Dickerson going to round out your top 10. Langton has kept that 0.8 of a second lead. Sean Bounty is making him work that cushion, trying to maintain it. Actually pulls out a little bit to over a second as they exit the technical part of the circuit down on the infield. A lot of guys like to use paddle shifts at this speedway. So much shifting going on. And wow, a little oversteer there for the 34 of Bounty. He loses a little bit more ground to the aid of Langton. And Langton's having a solid race thus far. Falling back to the clutches now as the 34 bounding back to Luke Daniels. 28 car and that awesome paint job. We worked through the first part of the technical spots. 2 left-handers into a right-hander, and this is a long sweeping corner, but it's very deceitful. Easy to overdrive it, and you see how well the 28 machine runs up to the bumper. Bounty just now. It's going to allow Langton to pull out another 1/10 of a second here before they go into NASCAR 1 and 2. You can see what that gap looks like. It's starting to grow lap after lap. These tires starting to wear down. Langton knows that he needs to get as much ground on that bottom split. And then we got second and third pretty close by, but we got to go back a little further to Garrett Helmlinger. About 3.5 seconds back from Luke Daniels. But Helmlinger's holding his own right now, and he's started in 4th. He's stayed in 4th. Great race so far for Garrett Helmlinger. Fontenot has fallen back. Morgan Cook is pulling away. The top 5 starting to set their ground. About 3-4 seconds separate Garrett Helmlinger from Morgan Cook, and then about 2 seconds separating Fontenot. We're still getting very spread out. Looks like we might have a little battle brewing here between Nick Gardner and Chris Klein. And a pass to the inside here for the 16 machine, and he's going to make quick work of Klein and move up to the 7th position now for Nick Gardner. Dakota Floyd in that recovery mode with that left front damage. He's trying to get back up in the top 10. You see the 69 of Larry Dickerson in front of him. And I kind of wanted to go back on an instant replay there, but we were already on the first lap, and unfortunately Mark Math also spinning out. 2 cars spin out on lap 1. And actually, it was pretty much lap 1, turn 1 for the 24 of Floyd. He's been in recovery mode from the start of this race. Even a little bit of damage on the front of Brian Henning's machine. You can get a different camera angle of that car. A little touch on the grill for that car as well. But this field is all but spread out. I mean, they're settled down pretty single file all the way around this place. And 1.5 seconds as he comes around for lap 6. He's led 5 of them thus far. Sean Langton putting on a clinic right now. In these dominant races, some of these guys will just come out here and perform flawlessly at road courses. And as we're seeing right now, Langton is the class of the field with that qualifying time. He's the one to beat right now. Hopefully, Bounty is saving some tires that we might see a race here, a battle for the lead. The 34 a little wide off that exit. These tires are just not wanting to hook up anymore. I know we talk about saving tires. You can undo an entire run of saving tires with just one kick out like that right there. So Bounty's going to have to be a little bit more careful. He's starting to pull away from Daniels a little bit. Daniels was within a 0.5 of a gap. Now spread that out to about 0.7 to the 28. And Garrett Helmlinger hasn't lost much ground either to these second and third positions. You see him coming to the first chicane all by his lonesome. No one in the mirror. He can run his own line. That's kind of comforting as a driver, especially at a road course. You can see plenty of room in front of you. You're able to come in and make your own braking points. Race your own line. And that's really what these first 25 or 30 laps or so are going to be. Welcome to the chat, Braden. Good to see you in here. VSRL Truck Series, the SET, Southeast Tutoring Truck Series, Monday nights, 8:55 Eastern Time. Make sure you guys hit the follow button if you're not already. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a single race on Monday night. We welcome you in. Braden, if we have any picks out here right now, my money's on Sean Langton. He's pulled out to about 2 seconds of a lead over Sean Bounty. Luke Daniels, Garrett Helmlinger, Morgan Cook, your top 5. We have Nicholas Fontenot, Nick Gardner. Nick Gardner's starting to catch up to Fontenot a little bit. About 3 seconds separating them still, but Gardner is making up a little bit of time, and he's left Chris Klein back there in 8th spot. We saw that quick pass into turn 1, well planned. He's pulled about a 3-second gap over top of Chris Klein. Todd Cleveland in 9th position, and Brian Hennings going to round out your top 10 as he gets around Larry Dickerson. Dakota Floyd's starting to catch up to him as well. We said Floyd was in his recovery mode. It's odd not to see. Yeah, Trent, I agree. It's odd not to see the 77 out there. We said Dakota Floyd was in recovery mode. He's almost back to the position of where he started. Lap 1, turn 1. Has a little crush with the wall, and now trying to get around Larry Dickerson to get back to where he started this race. So much ground lost without the full course cautions. That's tough to overcome. But I look Dakota Floyd with all those laps to get it back into the top 10, hopefully soon. And he locks it up hard there in the second chicane, tries to get to the outside of Larry Dickerson, gets in a little contact there with the 69, who hits the rumble strip, and wow. Let's see if he's actually able to complete this pass as he comes off there. No, it's going to be Larry Dickerson pulling back out to about a second over top of him. And we were back here with the 13 of Thad Miller, who was inside of Mark Matt there for a second. Remember, Thad Miller started in the 16th position. He's lost 1. He's back to 17th. But David Ackenbauer has elected not to finish this race. First car off the track here tonight for the 37 of Ackenbauer. And rounding out your field is Brian Watkins, who had an excellent race last week. If you remember correctly, at Rockingham, favored him very well, up in the top 5 for him last week. Now struggling a little bit here at the Roval, just putting down some laps to try to get the points. And I'll tell you a guy that's not struggling at all, though. Sean Langton, putting it down out there. 2 seconds ahead now, Sean Bounty. Not sure on the fuel strategy. I'm not sure about pit stops. These guys have limited their tire sets all season long, so wouldn't surprise me if they did that again. But as far as distance goes, I really have no intel on that. We talked to Langton. It didn't come up in the pre-race interviews with anyone. But without full course cautions, I'm not going to have the ability to pull anybody up here and get that information. Losing a couple tenths there. Langton looks like he struggled there through the technical spots there at the end. But now pulling it back out to 0.2 of a second with that excellent exit speed into turns 1 and 2. NASCAR's 1 and 2. Now coming up on the 17 of Brian Watkins. He's going to have to make quick work of the lap car. 17 going to move out of the way here in the chicane, and that allows Langton to get around cleanly. He did shorten up the gap a little bit, though. See these cars navigate around. Luke Daniels back in that 3rd spot. He's kind of fallen back a little bit. Hasn't lost a ton of time, but he is a second back from Bounty, and it's easy to make up. There's plenty of corners to do it. Just has to run his line, be consistent. 10 laps into this thing. We're almost a quarter of a way done with it. And Sean Langton has led all 9 laps that we've completed here tonight. A solid minute 22 to get around this place. And he's still putting them down out there. We have a car hitting the wall there on the exit. I don't know if that was Luke Daniels. No, that machine looks clean. Got a pass here going on. Dakota Floyd able to get around Larry Dickerson. This for the 11th position. And Larry Dickerson looks back to the inside. It looks like Floyd's got a little more damage than he originally had. Looks like the right front of that machine's got a little ding on it. And these guys still going at it, back and forth. Contact again between the 69 and the 24. Dickerson started back in the 20th position, has worked his way all the way up, and he's going to lose it. He's losing it down into the inside. Larry Dickerson loses it, and traffic control letting everybody know that there's a car sideways in the middle of the track. What's going on, Brandon? Brandon Beanstalk, good to see you in the chat. Larry Dickerson loses it there through the technical spots. He's going to lose 2 positions. Kyle Stewart, Dakota Floyd. Floyd's still struggling here. Justin Ritchie up into the 11th position. And I do not have driver info for this car. Not sure what's going on with Ritchie, but maybe he has a penalty. I'm not entirely sure. But Brian Henning's into the top 10. Todd Cleveland in 9th. Langton's kept this 2-second gap. Maintained it very well. And as the laps count down, this guy has put on a dominant performance thus far. 20 cars starting this race, 19 still on the track, and Adam Tips might have been one of the cars that lost control. He is now on pit road. The Optic Gaming 54 might be taking it behind the wall for tonight. Yeah, Tips is actually getting service on that machine. Left sides went up on it just now, so maybe coming back out on the track. Big gap here, 2.5 seconds over Sean Bounty. We got a car spinning, losing a little bit of control. That was Dan Witt just in front of the leader there. So Langton's going to have to be very careful. He's coming up on a lot of lap traffic here as they exit into turn 1. Thad Miller in front of him. So that'll be the group of Larry Dickerson, Thad Miller, Mark Math. Remember, Dickerson lost it here through this portion of the track. He's in recovery mode. Langton's just going to have to be really careful. As you see Thad Miller get out of the way. Courteous driving there by the 13. 69 and 199 going at it in front of the 8 machine. This is for position for 14th here. Able to hold on to the 14th position through the technical parts. Larry Dickerson getting through there a little bit faster. Let's see what they got for this chicane here as Larry Dickerson comes in there. A little bit hot there for the 69, and he's going to lose it again. He's completely sideways through the chicane. And he's going to go a lap down. He's going to fall back to the 16th, 17th position. Dan Witt's going to go around here. Unfortunate for the 69 of Dickerson. He was already struggling, now all the way back to 17th, a lap down. Langton able to navigate through there. Thankfully not involved in any accidents. He's got Mark Math in front of him in 14th, so he's already put about 4 guys down a lap. He's going to work on the 199. Just phenomenal drive here. 3 seconds ahead now. John Bounty. There are lots of different sponsors here for the VSRL Set Truck Series, and if you're interested in anything and all things racing, you can scan this QR code. We'll take you to their Discord. Get in contact with Garrett Helmlinger if you're interested in this league. Plenty of sponsors, and VSPEED will be bringing you flag-to-flag coverage all season long, so make sure you guys check in from time to time. Subscribe to the channel. For more information, check out the QR code for the Discord. With 13 laps completed, and that top 3 has stayed the same. Langton, Bounty, Daniels. Langton gets around Mark Math. He'll be working on Kyle Stewart. Will be the next car. Last car on the lead lap, and he's pretty far ahead here, but this is a teammate of Sean Langton. And Kyle Stewart struggling a little bit here tonight. He's got right side damage, front end damage. The machine's seen some better days. Speaking of better days, this 24 Drive Dan Hunger machine is beat up. The front end on it has had some work since the beginning of this race, but he's in the 12th spot, and he's got to pass Justin Ritchie. And let's see if we got driver info. Still not working here for the 55. Not entirely sure what's going on there, but these guys still going at it. Henning's getting back into it, and he's going to ramp the turtle. Going into the chicane, Larry Dickerson gets around Brian Watkins. That's for 17th. Some guys that are struggling getting through these chicanes, locking up the tires. Garrett Helmlinger, he's going to bring it down pit road now. To the 21, this is probably a scheduled stop at this point in the race. But a long pit road here for the 21. Umlinger looks for his stall. He's going to find it. See if he's able to hit it cleanly. And he's got a blown engine. The 21 machine having to use a fast repair here. So maybe not a scheduled stop like I thought. But he's going to burn a fast repair and come down pit road at lap 14. Sean Langton. Umlinger back out on the track. Sean Langton's pulled out to 5 seconds now. Sean Bounty must have lost control here at some point because Luke Daniels gets around him for second position. Don't think the 34 brought it down pit road, but he is now 12 seconds back from your leader. So I don't know if there was a mistake. I missed it entirely. Pass and a change for second position. Luke Daniels 5 seconds back now. So a lot of left and right hand turns as we go around the track with Sean Langton. Watch these technical portions of the track, how he's getting through it, just smooth on the throttle. And give it the beans as they come into NASCAR 1 and 2. Able to run it wide open. Long back straightaway. Then down on the brakes hard for the chicane. Langton is catching 41 of Kyle Stewart. More laps tick away here, and the smaller that gap gets. Stewart at threat to go a lap down. Dakota Floyd would be the next car in front of Kyle Stewart. Based off the speed that this 8 car is showing right now, I wouldn't be surprised if some cars in the top 10 go a lap down by the end of this race. And we got the 17 of Watkins going around. He's going to lose control here through the technical parts of the circuit. There's Kyle Stewart going by, and there comes your leader. The 17 just backing it up to get out of the way. If he goes now, he can get back to it. He's going to have to hit the loud pedal, though. Watkins has already kind of struggled here tonight. Oh, and the Mark Matt there almost loses it coming off the exit of that corner. That's unfortunate there for the 17. Larry Dickerson in the 69 also having a tough night tonight. He'll be in the 17th position. Dan Witt in 16th. A lot of guys struggle here at the Roval. It's a very tough course to get around. Myself personally also struggle with it. Not one of my favorite tracks. One of the newer circuits on the NASCAR schedule. And the conversion here starting back in, I believe, 2017 to start running the Roval in the schedule. Love it or hate it. This is a driver's track. You have to be on point. Sean Langton on point from the green. 8.3 seconds ahead of Luke Daniels in second position. Sean Bounty falls back to the third spot, about 14 seconds back, and he's got a little left front damage there. Might have been pushing that machine a little bit too hard. Trying to catch back up to Luke Daniels. What does the laps tick away? 17 laps in, 16 laps completed. We're going to take a quick commercial break here and then have uninterrupted coverage. We'll get some green flag pit stops in and go through your field. Oh, man, Bounty is having a hard time locking it up there on the front wheels. But a quick commercial break here, and we'll be right back after this.
Here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Around it, turn!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swag.
A push for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins an Auto Club.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
We're back live. VSRL Truck Series presented by Southeast Tutoring and VRX Simulators. VRXsimulators.com. You can check them out. Full immersion motion rig setups. And if you're interested in anything VSRL, there's the QR code again. Crimson Cards Carolina Challenge at the Roval. 19 laps into this thing. And your leader right now, Sean Langton, who's just been putting on a clinic. He's led every single lap we've completed thus far tonight. And in that pre-race interview, a little brush with the wall there into the chicane, but he gets around it okay. Gets around Kyle Stewart to put him a lap down, and he's pretty much checked out. He's in his own time zone, 11 seconds ahead of Luke Daniels, who's just now coming through this chicane. A lot of racing left to be done. Anything can happen, but as we approach the halfway point, good to see you in here, Canine Burnouts. Welcome into the broadcast. If you guys could, please share the broadcast with everyone you know. Help us out tremendously here at VSPEED as we bring you flag-to-flag coverage, all race and all season long. 28 car, a little drift there into the entrance, but hey, Luke Daniels, Sean Bounty, these guys, I mean, relatively speaking, have stayed with Sean Langton. Langton putting down half the field a lap, and it would be Chris Klein that would be the next machine to go a lap down to Sean Langton. Langton back here coming out into NASCAR 1 and 2 now. So about an 11-second gap between Langton and your 11th place driver. Like I said, as this race progresses, it would not surprise me if a couple cars in the top 10 find themselves a lap down. And unfortunately, we've got some guys that had to come down pit road early. Adam Tips being one of those guys. Garrett Helmlinger had to come down pit road, had a blown engine. So some of these guys that have been struggling. Larry Dickerson struggling hardcore here tonight. He just lost control again. Angelman Foundation, LA Construction Machine almost has all the paint worked off the sides. It's rough right now, but it's a technical circuit. Plenty of places to make mistakes, and as you've seen tonight, some of the names that are normally really fast here in the league have struggled. Sean Langton shown why he's a championship contender by putting on this dominating performance. 12 seconds now ahead of Luke Daniels. And I thought we heard some contact out there on the track. At the beginning of this race, we were able to tell who hit the wall when because a lot of these cars weren't damaged, but now it's kind of hard. It's tough to tell. Morgan Cook works his way into the 4th spot. Nick Gardner up into the top 5. Look at this guy go. He's got a little front end damage as well, though. 16. The Hyper Ice machine started in 6th, and he's worked his way into the top 5, but... Oh, and Larry Dickerson loses it again. Right in front believe that was Todd Cleveland that just went by him. Dickerson having a tough time here tonight. On board there with Luke Daniels, and he's in second position. These guys will stay on into the top 5 if so long as nothing bad happens. There's Sean Bounty, who's been catching up to him. Bounty trying to get back into that second position. Stayed in the top 3 with that slight little mistake. He's about 4 seconds back. But he can see. He can see the 28 of Daniels going into turn 1 here. So, we might have a battle here for the second position here shortly. We took away some more laps. Langton with that massive lead. Fontenot getting passed by the 8 of Helmlinger right now. Into the first chicane, the 21 goes, and not sure where he got that popped motor. Maybe a lap car, something happened in front of him, because Helmlinger was in the top 5 when this all went down in that unscheduled pit stop, so he's kind of in a little recovery mode. Hawkins able to get around the 69 of Larry Dickerson for the 17th position. They're all jumbled up back here. Dickerson goes off course there for just a second. What a tough night here for the 69. You can finish a race here. You did good. Yeah, I mean, it is, it's its own set of challenges. We got a pass going on back here. Luke Daniels coming down pit road. I would say a scheduled pit stop here for the 28. Morgan Cook going to go around him as well into the 3rd position. So Sean Bounty back up into 2nd. Luke Daniels down on pit road right now. Right sides go up on that machine as he gets service. Now the left side's going up. And I can promise you, work is being done to this machine. We can't see the crewmen, but they are working. And the 28 is down and away, back out on the track for Luke Daniels, and he only loses a couple positions. That's how big the spread was. Back to Nick Gardner, who's brought it back in within about 5 seconds. This might force the hand here. I don't know how much better those tires are going to be. Sean Langton, his best lap time, a 1:22.565. His last lap time, a 1:26, and he's going to bring it down pit road. So that does force the hand of the leader to come down and get service. Be interested to see if the 34 follows suit. Yeah, he's going to bring it down pit road. To the 34 car, Sean Bounty hits his stall. There's Langton on pit road. A couple other takers behind him. Fontenot down and away. Klein on pit road as well. Bounty. He's going to hit his stall now. Dakota Floyd down and away for the 8 of Langton. He maintains his lead over Luke Daniels by about 11 seconds here. Past the halfway point, and it's looking pretty good for the 8 car. It's a dominant performance. Can't stress enough how hard it is to get around this place, and for him to be doing what he's doing right now and not be contested. Incredible drive. Another great run this guy's having. Luke Daniels in second position. Solid race. John Bounty back in third as he gets off pit road, able to use his fast repair. He's maintained pretty well here. Todd Cleveland out on the track, still starting at 8th in the 4th position. And Garrett Helmlinger finds himself back up into the top 5. With that unscheduled pit stop, though, he might not have enough fuel to make it to the end. There's Morgan Cook in the 6th position, looking to make a pass here on the 21 as it goes around on the inside there. 5th position now for Morgan Cook. And then the guy that was in the top 5 a moment ago, back to 7th now, Nick Gardner. Got the front end damage fixed, so Hyper Ice gonna try to work its way back up in the top 5. Brian Hennings in the 74 machine in 8th position. That is a sharp looking paint job on that machine. I've always liked it. Nicholas Fontenot in the 9th position right now. He's been in and out of the top 5. 337 looks like about 6 seconds back from Brian Hennings. At threat to go a lap down. He'll be the last car on the lead lap, and then Chris Klein. And we've got the 69 of Larry Dickerson sideways in front of him again. Todd Cleveland hits pit road, so he's going to fall back a position. Nick Gardner up to 6th now. But man, he has checked out 11.5 seconds at one point. And he hasn't looked back since the green flag fell. John Langton just, I don't know. It's a whole different criteria with how he's getting through these corners. He's set the standard for how everybody be getting around this place or should be getting around this place. It's hard not to sound biased, but you want to talk about laps led. 25 led here for the 8. And as we watch that lead get bigger and bigger, I think we just need to count this one, roll it off, try to get a top 5. Because unless something crazy happens to this leader, you're not going to catch him. Show you the spread around this place as they work through the infield. You can see some of these guys working through the technical parts of the track and that long back straightaway. About to go 27 laps into the books. 26 officially, and we talk about different road courses. We've got Watkins Glen, another one of those tracks that kind of separate different names as we go through the schedule. Rockingham Roval, and then we go to Atlanta next week. North Wilkesboro, Kentucky Speedway, U.S. International Dirt. So there'll be a dirt race. Then we have spring break. May 8th will bring us back to Talladega, Texas. May 15th, Dover, May 22nd. Michigan, the 29th. And Dover starts the playoffs. So we've got Dover, Michigan, Bristol, and Las Vegas, your 4 playoff races. Wrapping up the season June 12th here in the summer. But we ride around the track here with Sean Bounty. 18.8 seconds back from your leader right now. Luke Daniels losing another second. 12.2 now for the 28. Morgan Cook still holding strong in that 4th position. Nick Gardner trying to catch up to Garrett Helmlinger back here in 5th. There's about a 9-second gap that Nick needs to make up, but he has a clean car to do it with now. And Garrett Helmlinger is going to have to pit. Unfortunately for the 21, he's going to have to bring it down pit road after that early engine mechanical failure. Kind of threw his pit cycle completely out the window. Todd Cleveland, haven't talked much about him tonight. Currently running in the 7th position. He's picked up 1 since the beginning of this thing, and he is catching up a little bit to Nick Gardner. It's about 2.9 second gap. Fontenot being the last car on the lead lap. He is well within risk now as they look at 9th position. Langton is back there. They come into the chicane. The 8 truck creeping up a little bit. Nightbot, you're fired. That's okay. We got things working out. We got multiple leagues, so any broadcasting that goes on here between the multitude of different leagues going on, Nightbot will post links to all of it, so you guys can check them out as well. Simulators Anonymous and martinsports906.com. But as we work through lap 29, Sean Langton catching up to the back of Chris Fontenot to put him a lap down. The 337 machine going to try to get an exit here and stay on the lead lap, but it looks like the 8 car inevitably is going to catch him. Back through the field, we can go back, look at our closest intervals right now. These guys are very well spread out. But Justin Ritchie in the 11th position is catching up to Chris Klein. He has it down to 2 seconds now. And there might be a change here for the top 10. Laps in now, and I tell you what, the spread of this field, if you want to go by interval, Brian Hennings, who is the last car on the lead lap in 8th position, is 1:12 behind your leader, Sean Langton. If you want to spread the whole field, 4 laps down for Larry Dickerson, Brian Watkins 4 laps down, Adam Tips, Dan Witt, Thad Miller 2 laps down, Kyle Stewart, Mark Matt, Dakota Floyd, Justin Ritchie, Chris Klein, and Nick Fontenot are all lap down. So that right there should put in perspective how dominant of a performance that Sean Langton is putting on out here. And he's not done yet. He is catching up to Brian Hennings in the 74 machine. And he has plenty of laps to do it. Maybe catches Todd Cleveland, but I think Brian Hennings might be the last car to go a lap down here. Just a phenomenal drive, and he hasn't let up. He's still running 1:24 around this place. He really has no reason to push this thing with that 14-second gap, but he hasn't let up from lap 1. And look how well he's getting around this place. Perfect through all the chicanes, perfect through 1 and 2. Gets the exit speeds to run the actual oval portion of this track and the banks in 15.3 seconds now. Langton had a good race there last week. Did a great job at Rockingham. Now, the week prior to that, I think he struggled a little bit. And then, Daytona, that's a toss-up for anybody. Homestead, not familiar with his race results, but had an excellent drive at Rockingham. Just hovered around that top 5 the whole race and was able to get it in the top 3 when you had several guys there in the last lap passes. Right there at the end, coming off of turn 4. And that set up what, in my opinion, was one of the best finishes thus far this season. Orange Speed Machine just giving him the sauce here. And Luke Daniels, who's just now coming into NASCAR 1 and 2. He's got plenty of gap to Bounty. Bounty is about 19 seconds, so that's about a 2-second gap, almost 3. on the interval, 2.8 to be exact. I would say Sean's probably not a threat right now for the 28, but if the 28 makes a mistake, this top 3 could change, and we saw that happen earlier with Sean falling back to the 3rd spot, and he somehow got the same identical damage on that left front. I wonder if it was the same touch. The same car with the same wall, whatever the case it may have been. The 34 finds himself damage again on the left front, and that's going to hinder his ability on the high-speed sections of this course. Checking with Nick Gardner here, running in the 5th position. Todd Cleveland, he's catching up to him a little bit. 1.2 seconds now for the 44. Helmlinger had to bring it down pit road, so he's going to be counted as a lap down now. That will move the 16 up to the 5th position. Morgan Cook about 15 seconds ahead of this battle. There's plenty of time left to do it, but the 44, he's going to have to do it within the next 10 laps or so. It's going to be tough to pass. Less than a second separating him and Nick Gardner now as they come off of turn 5. And the 44, Gatto, Team Glock. Looks like he's putting on some perfection here late in this race. So Brian Hennings, your last car on the lead lap. Garrett Helmlinger a lap down. 7 cars going to be on the lead lap. In the closing stages of this race, Brian Hennings, 1 minute 15 seconds. He is at threat from Sean Langton, who is exiting into turn, well, this would be NASCAR 1 and 2 in the high-speed banks. Garrett Helmlinger lurking to get his lap back. He's lurking back there. I don't know. Maybe the tires are good enough. I think Garrett can pull this off through the chicanes or maybe on the front straightaways. You see him catching up to the 8. Kind of locks it up there in the entrance. He is catching up to Langton. Kyle Stewart now going 2 laps down there in the mix of all that. Thought we might have a battle here soon. Another battle that's brewing is for the 2nd position. Sean Bounty is less than 2 seconds behind Luke Daniels. Morgan Cook, 27 seconds. That is an eternity. But he's riding in the 4th position right now. Great drive here. A good recovery compared to last week for the 51. Off of NASCAR 3 and 4 into the chicane. This is where the 44 is making up most of his ground, is in these technical circuits. And it's down to 6/10 now. Nick Gardner's got a mirror full of them. Todd Cleveland looking really solid here in the closing laps. We've got about 11 to go. Nick Gardner's probably feeling a little bit of pressure now to try to maintain this top 5. He's going to have to drive perfectly. The 44 is right there to pounce if anything goes wrong. Right in front of him, Mark Math moves out of the way, clips the wall. That allows Todd Cleveland to catch up a little bit more. Actually, Cleveland catches Mark Math at the wrong time and loses about 3/10 of a second. There's Brian Hennings. Let's look at the back here. He's got Sean Langton right behind him. Can he stay on the lead lap? In the 7th position. Aaron Helllinger also trying to get his lap back. Hasn't been able to do it yet. Last time by, a minute 24.5 for Sean Langton. And there's only one guy on the track right now that's even matched that lap time. That would be Sean Bounty with a 1:24.8. So even then, still 0.3 of a second off of your leader. That time around, a 1:24.9. Let's see what Sean Bounty's got in store for us. He has all but caught the 28 of Luke Daniels. 1:25.2, so they are losing ground to the leader. But Luke Daniels a 1:25.9. He is losing ground to the 20 or the 34. I think we're sizing him up here. Right up on the bumper now for the 44 of Todd Cleveland for the 5th position. Luke Daniels loses control, and he falls back to 3rd. Bounty able to get around him. Morgan Cook in the 4th position. I don't know if he's going to be able to capitalize on this with the amount of laps left. But the 28 has some massive left side damage. Able to keep that thing shiny all race long. Let's take an instant replay and see what happened to him. And he's just going to overshoot this exit right here. He has Bounty right on the corner. The brakes a little bit late, overshoots the runway, ends up into the grass, and left side damage here for the 28. And that's how he gets passed by the 34. That battle was inevitably going to happen, but unfortunately, the 28 expedites 3rd place, going off the corner there. And it looks like the 28 is going to bring it down pit road now, so maybe these guys can't make it in one stop. It's going to bring Morgan Cook back around to take away the 3rd position. If Morgan can make it to the very end, Luke Daniels might fall out of the top 5 here. Nick Gardner able to get away from Todd Cleveland. You saw Cleveland was right up on the bumper there at one point. Now 1.8 seconds back in 6th. And there's a change for 3rd, Morgan Cook, with 37 laps in the books, 45 to be completed. Less than 10 laps to go. The 51 finds himself in the top 3. Bounty back up there into 2nd position with all that left front damage, still working hard. And then Sean Langton has a clean truck. Mistake-free race so far. 20 seconds ahead of the 34 machine of Bounty. We've all but racked him up. We're going to count this position. I think that the 8 has it wrapped up unless something crazy happens. Working through the top 5. Nick Gardner in 4th. Todd Cleveland 5th. Can he get back to the bumper? He's got it back down to 1.6 seconds. Seems like every time he catches Nick Gardner, something happens. It is very tough to pass here, and you get up on that bumper, it might change your... Oh my goodness, the 17. The 17 hops the curb into the chicane. Coming down that long back straightaway. And he caught some hang time. Let's watch the hang time here. That's a lot of air. For a 3,400-pound stock car. It's a lot of air. You think so? You think so, Burnouts? I don't know. I think that he's got such a gap that he's not gonna chance it. If he's low on fuel in the last lap, he's gonna bring it down pit road and top off. This is Langton's race to lose. As it sits right now, 5 cars rather, go on the lead lap. Todd Cleveland, the last car on the lead lap, and he is a minute 8. Langton just smoking these guys here tonight. Unbelievable drive. You wouldn't know it based off of this. A lot of these guys were in the top 3 last week. Struggling here tonight. Last car on the field right now is Larry Dickerson. Last car on the lead lap has caught back up to the 16 of Nick Gardner with about 5 laps to go. And Larry Dickerson off the track again back there. 69 having a tough time. Justin Ritchie getting passed by Chris Klein for the top 10 in the closing laps. Do these guys have enough fuel to make it? I don't know. I'll tell you what, if you're close on that window and you think you can make it, if you need to clutch it a little bit, I would take the risk. But the amount of lead the 8 car has right now, you cannot afford. If he has to pit again, that's the only way you're going to catch him. So clutch it now. See if you can make it around this place in one stop. I don't know. The 69 loses it again. I might need to check the pedals on that 69 machine because he's just locking up the brakes left and right. In the closing laps here, we've got the battle. Closest cars on the track right now. Todd Cleveland, Nick Gardner for the 4th position. Less than a second separating these two machines, the 16, the 44. Into the chicane they go. Cleveland able to trim another 10th off that gap. 16 gets a little wiggle there across the line, so that's going to hold him up. That gives up even more ground to the 44. Tell you what, the 16, he's been holding it on pretty well. Trying to maintain that gap. It's down to 0.6 of a second now. These last 2 on the lead lap. Going to be fighting for a position here very soon. Or 0.4 of a second now. Check back in with your leader here before this battle brews up. Sean Langton, 22 seconds ahead. 5 laps to go. Coming up on some lap traffic here. And the 54 tips slides into the chicane. How about that? The 28 car. Luke Daniels. Oh boy, the 8 car sliding it through that chicane. Langton almost losing it there. Something happened to Todd Cleveland again. That gap grew back up to 0.8 of a second. There's plenty of time here for the 44, but I don't know if he's going to do it. Every time he gets close to Nick Gardner, it seems like he loses a little bit of ground. And wow, did he trim that down. Look at that gap, and shrinks down to 0.4 of a second as they come off of NASCAR 1 and 2 into the chicane. This is where the 44 shines. 16 loses it right in front of the 44. And Todd Cleveland's going to move it into 4th position. With less than 5 laps to go, Nick Gardner has to go chase him down. Gardner with a massive loss there of 2.5 seconds. Daniel's able to get his lap back, so we have 6 cars back on the lead lap. Unbelievable there for the 16 of Gardner. Do they have enough fuel, though? The 51 could get a top 3 here and recover from that Rockingham race. Morgan Cook, who's had a quiet night all evening, sneaks up there into the top 3. Started in the 5th position. Hasn't fallen out of the top 5 all race long. He's put out some solid laps. And the 51 looking like he's going to wrap it up in 3rd if he can make it to the end on fuel. He'll be sitting pretty. The 34, Sean Bounty, runs the front end damage. But he's not concerned with that right now with 3 laps to go. Last car on the lead lap, Luke Daniels, who ran in the top 3 most of this race, finds himself in 6th position behind Nick Gardner in 5th. Garrett Helmlinger, first car a lap down. We still have some cars losing it here. This happens right in front of Langton, actually. That's the 199 of Mark Math. But the guy that's been dominating all race long, coming up on 2 laps to go, has some lap traffic in front of him. John Langton leading this thing, going to come to the white flag next time by through the technical parts of the track. 23.7 second lead over Sean Bounty. It's almost over, folks. It's almost over, and I think it was over before it began with the lead that Langton has pulled out. The 8 car. Pre-race interview. He has to get around the 24 of Dakota Floyd, who clips the wall there on the exit. It's been a struggle all race long for some of these guys. Dakota Floyd in the 12th position, going to go 2 laps down now. He's just driving to survive right now. I know we got drive in hunger, but some of these guys just driving to survive to get this race out of the way. Get back to what they know. And the cookie cutter tracks, the 1.5 miles where some of these guys shine. Sean Langton taking them to a road course. Driving it on the infield. And he's about to put Nick Gardner a lap down as the white flag comes out. Langton, nobody contesting for position. He has enough fuel to make it to the end. He's going to come down into 1 and 2. Nice and easy. Does he go after and pounce for one more lap car? Or does he just ride around this speedway? 24.5 seconds. Looking pretty solid here off the exit. The dominating race all race long. 44, he's going to lead all 45. Into NASCAR 1 and 2. A little hiccup there, but he gets it back under him. Down the long backstretch into the chicane. Only 3 more turns to go. And we're going to have a driver with the most dominated race this season. John Langton in the 8 machine. Coming off of turns 3 and 4. Into the final chicane on the loud pedal. John Langton, your winner. excellent drive and a dominating race for Sean Langton. John Bounty going to bring it around. Final time for second position. Second place going to go to the 34. And then finally, the 51 of Morgan Cook coming off the backstretch. He's had a clean machine. He hasn't hit anything. The 51 set machine rolling off the final two corners. Into the chicane. Third position here tonight is going to go to Morgan Cook in a great recovery race from Rockingham. John Langton drifting around here. Just an excellent drive here for the 8. So we take it to the front straight away. The 8 car going to burn it down for us. He had a damage-free machine up until that point. Post-race interviews with your top 3 as we pull them up here. We'll get back to you right after this quick commercial break from our sponsors here on VSPEED. VSRL Truck Series wrapping it up at the Roval. Excellent job. Congratulations to Sean Langton. We'll be back right after this.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Back here, Crimson Cards Carolina Challenge at the Charlotte Roval, and we're down on pit road. We're going to pull up your top 3. We've caught up with Morgan Cook, who pulls it off here tonight. Able to finish 3rd here, and, you know, based off of fuel, some of these guys got mixed up and had some troubles early. You came from 5th position, able to get it done in the top 3.
Yeah, we needed this. We needed this really bad. Yeah, excellent race. A lot of fun. I guess there were 2 cars in front of me. I never saw them. As far as I'm concerned, I just ran my own race, and P3, here we are.
Yeah, it was quite the interval. That top 3 got really spread out early in this race. And you needed, like you said, you needed this bad. The recovery from Rockingham, it was very tough on you. But here tonight at a track that's normally tough on everyone, you're able to get up there in the top 3 and, like you said, just ran your own race.
Yeah, for sure. The my march to making the playoffs has got to start here. Bonus points. We got some tonight, first time all year, no incident points, and a top 3 finish. I mean, I can't ask for much more than this. I was really hoping just to, you know, finish the race and not be last were the honest goals today, and we clearly achieved that. So, yeah, on to Atlanta. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, we're going to Atlanta next week, and some guys are comparing that to Talladega in some aspects. But you're sitting here in the points. You said the run's got to start here. What do we have in store for us at Atlanta?
Well, he's got to survive. Atlanta it's like Daytona, it's like Talladega, but it's also like Bristol, because nobody can stay off of each other. You'll see a lot of carnage there, and it's going to be difficult to survive that race. Those who do will have a great points day. Those who don't, obviously, will struggle.
All right, Morgan. Well, we appreciate you coming up here in the booth with us. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out for that awesome performance here at the Roval?
Absolutely. Shout out Southeast Tutoring, setutoring.ca, title sponsor of this series. Got to shout out Orange Speed and all my teammates. We got some exciting things in the works, and stay tuned, everybody. And really some great racing out front by Sean and Sean. They were a class in the field today. Really good. So, thanks.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Third place finisher Morgan Cook, and I tell you what, great recovery race for him this week. Moving on to your second place finisher, and it was a tough one, but I tell you what, Sean Bounty, it looked like whatever mistake, and we missed it, but you were running in second for the first half, probably about 20 laps in. What happened there where you fell behind Luke Daniels?
Yeah. I was just hanging with the leader there for quite some time and just kind of found a rhythm where I would just wanted to hang behind him and see how long he would run long clean laps. And eventually I got to the bus stop and downshifted about a couple hundred RPMs too soon, and I got locked out of gear entering the bus stop, so I couldn't engine brake where I wanted to, and I just had to slide through the bus stop and take my loss and spin it around just to not hit the wall, and got stuck about 7 seconds behind second after that. And the rest of the race was mostly just catching back up to second. And then we were close enough on speed that the tires were kind of too worn to be aggressive. So I just tried to, instead of catching up to his bumper, just hang with him and let him know that I was there, just keep enough pressure on him to see if he would make a mistake so I wouldn't have to try to pass him. Eventually, that, I guess it lucked out because he picked up his pace. I'm not even, I think it was Daniels. I'm not even sure who that was.
Yeah, Luke Daniels. Yep.
Yeah. I saw him pick up his speed for quite some time, and we were running the same, and he hit a turtle and got knocked off course, and so that lucked out. But just fortunate to kind of recover where I was and not have a chance to run with the leader. But he was kind of in his own ballpark. My only objective was to just try to hang with him and see if enough pressure kept him looking around. But that was all on Langton, and congrats for him.
Well, Sean, you come off of last week's race, a great finish there at Rockingham, second place here tonight. Looking really good here. We're going to Atlanta next week. What do you got in store for us?
I don't even know what to call Atlanta anymore. It's just a small super
Agreed.
speedway, as everybody says. And yeah, I've had a lot of really good luck at Atlanta. I'm really good at super speedways and usually run near the front. Last time I was there, I won a race there, and it was all comes down to when your tires wear out. If you lift a little early and then get back in it, you won't hit the wall, and you just save your tires there. So I don't care about giving away any secrets there, but it's fun, and I think the most treacherous part will be if we have green flag pit stops. Just hope we don't have a pile up, and we'll maybe luck our way out of that place.
Yeah, we got a little front end damage there on the 34. We're taking a look at it right now on the replay, but that thing was beat up and you still put it in second. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
I'm just mostly solo here, so but yeah, thanks to Vector Sim Racing and everybody that puts on the league and all that they do to let us come out and race, and Southeast Tutoring for sponsoring these events. Aside from that, I'm just happy to be here.
We appreciate your time, Sean, and we'll look forward to maybe talking to you next week in Atlanta.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Second place finisher, and that's Sean Bounty. We've got one more guy left to bring on here. We get the right overlays. That's going to be the 8 car. John Langton, just a dominating performance here tonight. All 45 laps led. And when we talked to you in the pre-race, you sounded confident. You looked confident. 26, almost 27 seconds over second place here tonight.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think the scariest part of the race was me for the very start. I just about looped it coming off that corner on the front straight.
Well, I mean, a couple guys did. Lap 1, turn 1 seemed to be, detrimental to a lot of guys' races. Falling out of the top 10 for Dakota Floyd. We had Larry Dickerson, who is usually pretty fast in the top 5, struggled all race long. So it was a tough track, no doubt.
Yeah, the first run, I kind of saved my tires a little bit. And then after I had a good lead after the pit stop, I just kind of went flat out and just tried to extend it.
Well, we got some guys in the chat right now that say that you need to give some rookie tips out there. Give some tips out to the guys that are just learning the service. I don't know how much information you want to share, Sean, but what is the secret? Can you give them one tip to get around this place so cleanly?
A lot of practice. I've got a lot of laps on road courses. I grew up playing Gran Turismo and all those games.
Well, I tell you what, just be smooth.
Just be smooth with the throttle, really, especially on these trucks. You just can't gun it. You really just gotta take care of the rear tires and keep it pointed straight.
Well, there you go. Everybody in chat, write that down. Sean Langton, dominating performance, 45 laps led, and he puts down a 1:22.5 as the fastest lap in the race. Congratulations. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out for tonight's dominant performance?
Just want to say hi to my parents at home. They're watching right now. And just thanks to the Orange Speed team and Southeast Tutoring for being on the truck. We're having a good year this year, and just want to keep it going for next week in Atlanta.
Well, we'll see you next week, and hopefully have you up here in the broadcast booth and post-race.
All right, we'll talk to you then.
Race winner, Sean Langton, and it's been a great season thus far. 4 races into this season. Next week, Atlanta, 8:55 Eastern time. Hope you guys can bring yourselves into the broadcast booth. If you're not following, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on the YouTube. VSPEED will be bringing you live flag-to-flag coverage all season long. And if I could just hit the right buttons here, we got them. We fixed it. So that concludes the Crimson Cards Carolina Challenge. Let's go through your results. Bring him up here on the screen. Sean Langton, the dominant race he had. Sean Bounty in second with Morgan Cook, your top 3. Luke Daniels able to recover back to 4th position. Todd Cleveland 5th with the last few lap pass there on Nick Gardner in 6th position. Garrett Helmlinger in 7th. Brian Hennings 8th. Nicholas Fontenot in 9th. And Chris Klein going to round out your top 10. 11th position belongs to... Oh, sorry. Justin Ritchie got a little off track there. Dakota Floyd in 12th. Mark Math 13th. Kyle Stewart 14th position. Thad Miller in 15th. Dan Witt 16th. Adam Tips 17th. Brian Watkins in 18th position. Larry Dickerson 19th. And David Ackenbauer going to round out your 20th spot. Cars that did not complete the race: Matt Brewer, Joseph Selleck, and David Ackenbauer off the field here tonight. But nonetheless, great race. Enjoyed it. Hope you guys loved the broadcast. Tomorrow night, VSPEED will be live again for the BTDY Racing Series at 8:35 Eastern Time. I hope you guys can join us in that as well. Until then, from everybody here at VSRL, the SET Truck Series, VRX Simulations, and VSPEED, we thank you for joining us tonight. Take care, everybody.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swack.
Up calling for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The